what sport do you compete in?
I'm Jake Domer, and I compete in equipped powerlifting.
Yeah! I'm coming for you, Dave Hoff! What's up?
Now, equipped powerlifting, what is that? What are the different categories? What does that mean for people?
So it depends on the federations, but the common ones is there's raw. You have two different kinds of raw. You have raw with sleeves, you have raw with wraps, and then you have single ply, which is either it's one layer of material. You have a squat suit, a bench shirt, and a deadlift suit, and you get one layer of fixed material. You're not allowed to have straps or anything, and that's single ply. And then you have multi-ply, which you're technically allowed as many layers as you want, and you're allowed to have straps. You're allowed to have briefs and a squat suit, or just a squat suit if you prefer. But most of the time, it's at least 3 to 4 plies.
Now, okay, so you're an equipped powerlifter. What is, in a nutshell, what is powerlifting for everybody out there? What does powerlifting mean? Is it you move certain stones? What is that?
So powerlifting is the main. There's 3 main lifts. You have squat, then you have the bench press, and then you have the deadlift. And when you go to a meet and you compete, the end goal is to get a big total, and the total is at the end you add up your 3 biggest lifts you did in the squat, bench, and deadlift. Whatever your 3 biggest is, you add those together and you get your total.
Now, how does it feel getting into your suits?
It feels like, it's game day. I remember I grew up playing football and baseball, and it's kind of like, when you're putting your cleats on, you're in the dugout getting ready, or you're out in the outfield catching fly balls, you got your music in, you're getting ready, it's time to flip that switch,
Yeah.
It's game time.
With how, I know you mentioned a little bit about, previous other sports, what led you to powerlifting just in general? How did you fall into this sport?
It was actually bodybuilding at first, I was always a bigger kid, and when I was younger, I was fat. And I moved up here from, not SoCal, but Central California, San Luis Obispo. And I was a chubbier kid at first, and I got bullied a little bit for that. So I ended up going to the gym. I wanted to lose weight. I didn't want to get bullied anymore. So I started losing weight, looking better, and then everybody called me roids, which was awesome. You can't win. But yeah, I started bodybuilding, and I got a 6-pack eventually, and I was like, okay, this is cool and everything, but my maxes actually went down, and I was like, you can do both, but at the end of the day, I was like, I'd rather lift as much weight as I possibly can. I don't give a shit for a 6-pack anymore. So that's where I came into powerlifting. And there wasn't any gyms around here that I knew of. So my senior year of high school, I was actually going to go down south to play baseball, back to San Luis Obispo and play baseball. But 2 weeks before, I decided not to do that, and I wanted to powerlift. So I eventually moved down there. And I was working out at a bodybuilding gym, and I was looking around for powerlifting gyms, and I found Slow Strong. And I went over there. All the dudes were pretty cool. I started raw powerlifting because I saw all the other guys that ended up being my buddies were all in equipped powerlifting. And I was like, I first saw that and I was like, that's gay as hell. You'll never see me in any of that shit. I'm going to be raw for my whole life, right? They finally convinced me one fucking day to get in briefs. And after that, I was like, I'll never be raw again. This is way more fun.
How was your upbringing like growing up? Just kind of a little bit of touch base on that.
Yeah, so my parents got divorced when I was 4, 5, 6, somewhere in there. I still had a good upbringing. My mom and dad were both there, but it was tough. I definitely had to grow up sooner because I had to be more responsible with bringing my stuff from place to place, I had to watch my little brother because my parents weren't always there. Since it was a split household, they always had to be at work. So it was my duty to make sure my brother, we got to school and back on time. And if he had sports after, then I had to get him there or whatever. So
has powerlifting been kind of an outlet for you to get all your frustration out on the people you like to beat up and shit that you're going through?
Yeah, I'd definitely say if I didn't have powerlifting, I'd probably be in jail. Or dead, one or the other.
As of right now, is there a single person or situation, or what is it that's motivating you to get through this meet prep that you're in, or just in general?
So yeah, life's been up and down my whole life, but the last 3 months have been rough. I'm big on dogs. I love dogs way more than I love people. I can trust my dogs because they'll always be there for me. Anyways, the last 2 or 3 months, I've had 2 dogs die, and my best friend's from 7th grade. He OD'd on fentanyl. So, and 2 years ago, he went up to the same meet with me up in Oregon. And, he was there with me for the whole ride through meet prep and everything. And he's not going to this one. So this is for Zom,
Have you, maybe this is kind of an understatement, have you been somewhat emotional?
Yeah, I've been pretty emotional, and the drugs have tenfolded it,
The goal here being that you're definitely dedicating this to him. What is your overall goal for this meet and just in general for, long term for powerlifting?
So the original goal for this meet was a 2K total, and that's still the plan, and I'm very confident I can do that. I looked on the record books for IPA, and it said that the teen squat world record was 8.6 or 8.15, and I've done 8.16 plus multiple times in the gym. I'm very confident I can take this record.
Tell us the play-by-play on teen.
Oh, sorry, junior, not teen. Sorry, junior, which is 20 to 23 years of age, and I just turned 23.
Yeah, you're not a teeny.
Yeah, not teeny. Yeah.
So, tell us if you want to walk us through a heavy squat, which we've been under the bar quite a bit, at 800 pounds on your back. How does that feel for the viewer? What does that even feel like or even look like?
I would say, a lot of the stuff that I preach and I say and that I believe in comes from Dave Hoff, because he's been there. He's had the most on his back. And I always remember when he said, and this is the best point I can make for somebody that's never been in gear or had a significant amount of weight where you're like, I could die under this, is it feels like you're in the deep end of the pool drowning. And if you don't pick the weight up, you're going to die. That's how it feels.
And is that the mindset going into it, that you have to execute this lift because there is no other alternative, right?
Yes, correct.
Now, with the squat, how about the bench and the deadlift? Are they both just as important as a squat? I know there's been in equipped powerlifting, correct me if I'm wrong, you put more of the effort and the emphasis on the squat to set yourself up for a bigger total, is that correct?
Correct, yeah.
So how does it feel going into a bench press with this shirt on you that is almost impossible, because I've tried them and they suck?
Yeah. The big thing about benching is consistency and being in it for a long time and learning it. It's taken me a long time to learn it, and I'm still learning it. There's tons of things I can be better at the bench. I can stretch more, so I can open my hips more, so I can get wider, right? I can be more stable. I can have a better arch. There's tons of little things that I could get better at. But I definitely say beating the pressure. The pressure is the hardest part about geared lifting. You kind of have to be a little extra to do equip lifting. The amount of pressure on the squat and the bench is, like I said, it's like drowning in the pool, in the deep end. It's until you do it, it's hard to explain it. You have to feel it. You know what I mean? And Emilio's a great example. He's the only one that's talked shit about it, gotten into it, and being able to get to depth and squat and not pass out in the hole. Been able to stand up. He still hasn't done the bench shirt yet. I'm still waiting for that.
That's fucking scary.
Yeah.
So the meet is in how many weeks?
2 weeks. We have 14 days.
So we're going to revisit what happens after the meet. We're going to do a kind of a follow-up with you.
Okay.
And see how well you did. And we're expecting that 2K total, correct?
Oh, absolutely.
All right,
Something else, too. I'm going to win. I'm fucking taking first in this meet.
I hope so.
Yes, sir.
Let's do it. All right, man. Thank you. Appreciate it,
Yeah,
brother.
of course.
Thanks.